Hey guys, it's Mike and you're watching That's Cool Vintage Collectibles. And as you know, I'm on a quest to document every single item in my collection through this channel, as well as talk about how things arrived here and places I go and things like that. So that's what we do on this channel. Today on the channel, I'm going to be talking about an autograph that I got a number of years ago. Back in around 2008, I opened a rock and roll museum in my hometown and had my collection on display for 4 or 5 years before I was actually forced to close it due to some fire code issues where I was. So that was just a short-lived thing, but I had a concert venue and a museum and quite enjoyed doing that. The perks of this was if I were to contact musicians and ask for donations to the museum, they usually would send something. And so that is the case with this piece today that we're going to look at. This is a signed item from John Sebastian. So John Sebastian, of course, was the front man and predominant songwriter in a group called the Lovin Spoonful. And you might know hits like Do You Believe in Magic and Summer in the City and things like that. They were jug band music, as they called it, kind of bluegrass mixed with the new electric folk music that Bob Dylan had introduced. And this folk revival scene and folk rock scene that happened in the late 1960s. So bands like the Mamas and the Papas, of course Dylan, the Lovin Spoonful, bands like that, even the Byrds to an extent, were all experimenting with folk rock. Barry McGuire was in there as well. Early Simon and Garfunkel, things like this were happening. And John Sebastian became one of the more recognizable figures. And of course, famously opened the Woodstock Festival as he was there, and Richie Havens had not arrived yet, so he was the first performer at Woodstock as well. And then he had a really well received solo career as well throughout the 60s and 70s, playing predominantly Lovin Spoonful tunes and original solo material that he'd written. But I contacted him and asked for a signed photo, and he graciously sent that back, as well as a set list to the rainforest benefit that he was organizing at the time, which was pretty cool. And I was just very grateful that he responded and sent that, as a pretty legendary guy in rock and roll. So this photo is the photo I received, and I was just so happy to get that, and thanks very much, John. A little side note about the Lovin Spoonful, certainly with me being Canadian, I'm aware of this. Guitarist Zalyanovsky of the Lovin Spoonful grew up in Toronto, and after being in the band, opened a restaurant in Kingston, Ontario called Chez Piggy. So if you've ever been to Chez Piggy, that was Zalyanovsky's restaurant in Kingston, Ontario. And it's a great restaurant and in the old part of the city. So check that out if you're ever in Kingston. So there's just a little quick video today on one of the pieces in the collection that I'm thrilled to have and to keep, and one that certainly has a lot of meaning to me, and one that I hope you enjoyed looking at as well. If you like collectible content, that's what we do on this channel. Today was just a quick video, but sometimes we go more in depth into things, and if you like vintage sports memorabilia, sports cards, rock and roll memorabilia, records, guitars, vintage antiques, and more, that's what we do here. So give us a like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Keep on collecting.